According to the Journal of Nutrition, nearly 90% of women over age 40 don't eat enough protein, even when we think we're prioritizing it. Why? Well, because our hormones start shifting in perimenopause. And once that happens, our body actually needs more protein. While at the same time, our body actually craves less. And that gap often leads us to overeat all the wrong things, spiking our blood sugar, wreaking havoc on our hormones, and yes, even sabotaging the scale. So, how much protein do we really need? And does the type of protein actually matter? In today's episode, I'm peeling back the curtain on the 3 biggest protein mistakes women make in midlife and what to do instead to support your hormones while finally moving the needle on weight loss. So, grab a quick potty break and your favorite protein bar. Just make sure it has more protein than sugar. And I'll be back to break it all down in less than 90 seconds. Hey friend, can I call you friend? Because I already feel like we're friends in my head. Did this podcast teach you something, make you laugh, or feel less like an alien? If so, I would be so incredibly grateful if you could take just 60 seconds to rate, review, and subscribe. That is the #1 way you can thank me and support the show. Until next week, stay cool and keep away from sharp objects. Hey beautiful, welcome back to the show. Okay, so you've swapped egg whites for cereal, added collagen to your morning coffee, and even splurged on the cleanest plant-based protein tub you could find at Costco. And still, your skinny jeans won't button without a prayer and some deep squats. I know, I've been there. And I get how frustrating that can be. But here's the thing. Most of us are eating far less protein than our midlife bodies actually need. And over the course of perimenopause through menopause, that can really add up to like a whopping 25 pounds or more. This isn't just a metabolism issue, it's a hormone issue. And it's why weight loss in midlife requires a change in the way we've been eating our entire lives. Let me repeat that. If you want to lose stubborn hormonal weight in midlife, you need to change the way you've always eaten. Now, over the last couple of episodes, I've been sharing tools that help move the needle on both hormone balance and weight loss over 40. I'll be sure to link episodes 75, 76, and 77 in today's show notes in case you missed them. Last week, we started talking about how our diet impacts weight loss and fat storage in perimenopause. And today, we're continuing the conversation with a deep dive into protein and how, if used correctly, is a tool that can help keep our hormones and portions in check. Let's get into it. You probably already know getting enough protein is important, and not just by the name of this episode. Hence that dusty tub of protein powder sitting in the back of your pantry, right? But do you know how it matters more in midlife? Protein isn't just for dudes named Chad pounding shakes in between grunts at the gym. It helps women over 40 stabilize our blood sugar, curb our cravings, support hormone repair, and yes, burn fat more efficiently. It's also critical for keeping our metabolism active because when we're not getting enough protein, we tend to lose muscle. And that means our metabolic rate slows down, way down. And since we can lose up to 10% of our muscle mass each decade once we hit age 40, we actually need more protein now than we did in our 20s and 30s. But here's the tricky part. Our appetite for protein tends to drop once our hormones shift. That's because estrogen starts messing with our hunger and our fullness signals. So even when we think we're eating enough protein, we're often missing the mark. And that miscalculation can really backfire due to something called the protein leverage effect. It's a theory that our body keeps chasing calories, especially carbs and unhealthy fats, until it's satisfied. Which is exactly why weight gain in perimenopause and menopause can happen when we're trying to eat clean. So what if you have been eating more protein, but the scale and your hormones are still fighting you like a teenager whose phone just got put in a timeout? This is something I actually hear from a lot of women before they become my client, and it usually boils down to one of three common mistakes. The first biggest mistake I see, you think you're eating plenty of protein, but it's not nearly enough. Most of the women I talk to insist they're on top of their protein game. And yes, they're putting a protein on their plate at lunch and at dinner, but they're underestimating the amount they're actually eating. And in between meals, they're often going hours without a single gram. Then they end up raiding the office snack drawer like it's the zombie apocalypse. So how much protein should you be eating? There's a general recommendation for women over 40, and then there's a specific protein recommendation that's unique to you. Most research suggests women in midlife need somewhere between a half a gram to, or excuse me, 0.5 grams to 0.9 grams. So about a half to a 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, which roughly boils down to 25 to 40 grams of protein at every meal. But for my clients, I like to go deeper because your protein requirements, as well as your carbohydrates and healthy fats, can shift depending on your activity level, your goals, even what hormone imbalances you're dealing with. For example, if you have PCOS, you should focus on keeping your carbs under 40% of your daily needs in order to support insulin sensitivity. If you have low estrogen, I usually work with my clients to increase their protein to up to 40% to help preserve lean muscle and stabilize their weight. And if you're dealing with adrenal fatigue, you could benefit from a lower carbohydrate approach like clean keto, sometimes as low as 20 to 50 grams of carbs a day to support cortisol and reduce inflammation. That's the benefit of getting a customized, done-for-you plan like the one I offer in my Master Your Midlife Hormones program. Because the right protein amount isn't just about hitting a number. It's about giving your body what it actually needs to repair, rebalance, and finally lose the weight. We'll get into the second protein mistake a lot of us are making in midlife in just a minute. But first, if you've been listening to this and thinking, how much protein should I be eating for my hormones? How much protein am I really eating? Or how do I know which of my hormones are actually out of balance? Then I got something for you. Because that's exactly where my hormone symptom profile assessment comes in. And you can take it for free right now at bit.ly/takemyhormonequiz. This tool was originally developed by 3 functional medicine doctors using something called hormone symptom profiling to help women connect the dots between their symptoms and 9 of the most common hormone imbalances in perimenopause through postmenopause. It's the same assessment I use with every woman I coach because it gives us the foundation to align your nutrition, your supplements, and your lifestyle with your unique hormone profile. More than 1,600 women have already taken this assessment and gotten clarity on what the heck is going on with their hormones and why nothing they've tried to feel better or lose weight is quite working. Summer is here, and really there's no better time to get ahead of your symptoms before life gets hectic again. So take my free assessment now at bit.ly/takemyhormonequiz or click the link in today's show notes. So the second really common mistake I see when it comes to protein is you're eating protein, but not consistently. Maybe you're nailing it at dinner, or you're crushing it on days when you've meal prepped. But if your protein intake most days looks like your mood the week of your period, up, down, generally all over the place, it's going to show up on the scale and in your symptoms. Because our hormones, they crave consistency. So when we go hours or entire meals without protein, it can trigger a chain reaction inside our body that causes our blood sugar to rise, our insulin to spike, our cortisol to surge, and fat storage. And then what happens? Well, we get ravenous. We hit a wall. And what's the first thing we reach for? So-called healthy snacks like fruit and crackers and granola bars or popcorn. Basically carb bombs that spike our blood sugar, crash our energy, and send our hormones into a total meltdown. And that impacts the scale too. According to a research study in the Journal of Nutrition, women who spread their protein evenly across the day have an easier time managing cravings, stabilizing blood sugar, and keeping weight off compared to women who eat most of their protein at dinner. Even something quick like a hard-boiled egg or some Greek-style plant-based yogurt or a few turkey roll-ups in between meals can really help keep things stable. Bottom line, consistency matters. And when our nutrition, including protein, starts supporting our hormones all throughout the day, that's when we see things start to change in a good way. And mistake number 3 is you're eating protein, but not the right kind. Because contrary to popular belief, all proteins are not created equal. Now, if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, what I'm about to say might rub you the wrong way. And hey, you do you. But if you're over 40 and you're trying to balance your hormones or lose stubborn weight, research proves that animal protein is the superior choice for true hormonal and metabolic support. Why? Because animal proteins are complete proteins, meaning they contain all 9 essential amino acids that our body needs and can't make on its own, which is absolutely critical for hormone health, muscle repair, and fueling our metabolism. On the other hand, plant proteins, think soy, peas, rice, or hemp, often miss a few essential aminos. So even if you're hitting your protein grams at the end of the day, you might not be getting the amino support that keeps hunger, hormones, and fat in check. And that gap matters. According to research out of Harvard's nutrition lab, women eating more complete animal protein retain more lean muscle and gain less fat than those who are plant-only protein eaters. And a recent review of controlled clinical trials in food science and nutrition revealed that animal-based protein increases post-meal energy in participants by about 14% versus 9.5% for plant protein, meaning our body burns more calories naturally after eating meat or dairy. So, if you're relying mostly on plant protein, you may be missing key amino acids that could be contributing to your stalled metabolism. At the end of the day, complete proteins aren't optional. They're essential to activate our metabolism and support our hormones. So, to recap, if you're taking notes, If you want to use protein as a tool for hormone balance and weight loss in midlife, you want to start with a few small but powerful shifts. First, make sure you're eating enough. In general, aim for 30 grams of protein per meal. Most women eat far less than that. Second, be consistent. Eat protein throughout the day, including breakfast, and yes, you should be eating breakfast, as well as your snacks. Your hormones thrive on predictability. And third, focus on complete proteins from animal sources so you're getting all 9 of the essential amino acids your body cannot make on its own. Join me right back here next week for a very special episode where I'll be sharing a live hormone balance breakthrough call with a listener in perimenopause who's dealing with low energy, joint pain, total caffeine dependency, and 35 pounds that just won't budge. You don't want to miss this behind-the-scenes conversation that will change the way you look at your own hormonal symptoms. Until then, wishing you health, happiness, and fewer hot flashes. Hey friend, can I call you friend? Because I already feel like we're friends in my head. Did this podcast teach you something, make you laugh, or feel less like an alien? If so, I would be so incredibly grateful if you could take just 60 seconds to rate, review, and subscribe. That is the #1 way you can thank me and support the show. Until next week, stay cool and keep away from sharp objects.